Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a couple things that I think are important in when you're starting a business. I wanted to dive into some of the challenges that you guys faced early on in whether it's the current business you have or some other business you'd like to share with Christian. Why don't you talk about that? What are some of the instances? Give me two examples of hardships you face, and how have you come over that?
So I guess my biggest failure was when I first got to Boston. I wasn't prepared.
Uh huh.
So after college, I came back and I knew that I wasn't gonna come back to. Um, it wasn't gonna be college no more.
Uh huh.
So I spent like a year in LA before I realized like, hey, we gotta move on. And that was my first failure because I should have never came back to LA.
Uh huh.
Um, so that's where I feel I learned the most because I stayed perhaps in the Bay Area after graduation, maybe I would not even be doing what I'm doing today.
Right.
But you can't dismiss that everything happens for a reason
Of
because
course.
now I see the fruits, but I understand that seeds had to be planted.
Yeah, and that's an interesting statement or analogy because, um, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's alright.
I kicked his foot here, putting footsies under the table. It's important because I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs we face impatience,
Hmm.
and I'm not a religious man, but I know across different codes of religion they always come across. There's no matter what religion you look at, patience is a key virtue they talk about. Invest your time and energy and thought into the actual process of what you're doing. If you're farming, make sure all your efforts are in farming. If you're studying, focus on studying. Whatever you're doing, give it your 100% and focus on that, and invest plant those seeds of whatever you're doing because the fruit of those labor will come automatically, right? So, not so much in other words, don't focus on the fruit, but the actual process, the
Hmm.
journey, right? The
Yeah.
systems behind getting that tree, developing that seed into a fruit. There's obviously farming that goes behind it. You have to nurture the plant, you have to feed it, you have to provide nutrients, you have to water it, you have to make sure insects are not penetrating through it. You have to make sure there's not parasites in it, and just like that in a business, there's many obstacles that come up,
Hmm.
right, from all angles,
Of course.
and you have to cultivate your business. You have to spend time, and a lot of times, um, to me, you said failure, but failure is always a failure, really, if you don't learn from it, right? And what was the feedback? How did you turn that failure or things that you consider a failure, quote unquote, into a positive experience that you have benefited from?
Well,
So, in other words, what are the insights? What insights can you share about your journey that some of the audience and the listeners who are in that position thinking, hey, should I do this or should I do that? Should I open a business? Should I stay in my job? Should I stay in college? You know, what is some advice you can give them specifically about the insights you've gained in this process?
never stop learning. I think always being a student of the game, no
Absolutely.
matter what game you're playing. And I always like to gamify whatever it is that I'm working on. So I think in games.
Absolutely.
So for me, our game is the printing game.
Haha.
Sometimes, you know, even if you think you have it done, there's probably some other company that's doing it a little bit bigger or better than you. So
Right.
understanding that and working towards that and seeing and maybe do looking on look at their website, but don't copy, right?
Of
But
course.
understand that there are other people that want what you have or want what you are planning for on your weekly or monthly goals. So
Absolutely.
that's that which brings awareness up, right? Which follow brings us up to staying aware. To me, those are the actual fundamentals that perhaps are gonna keep us always one step ahead, or at least under giving us that level playing field to compete. Um, I'll give you a perfect example, and we actually spoke about this a few days ago with
Uh-huh.
Lottie. I was telling him that in the printing world right now, there's two main companies that are driving the decorating industry,
Uh-huh.
and the first company is Brother
Uh-huh.
International, which is
Of
the
course. The
printer.
printers, everybody knows that.
Exactly, and then the other company is called Cornit.
Uh-huh.
So those two companies basically dominate. It's like a duopoly in the marketplace.
Right.
So um, essentially, like,
So competing with them is very tough.
well, there are the manufacturers that supply companies like ours,
I
right?
see, okay.
But the reason I bring those two companies up is because we are printing with Brother printers right now.
Okay. So
Um,
it's high quality.
high quality, but I as an entrepreneur, you have to understand that there might be something better out there.
Of course.
And that better is actually gonna be doing a live presentation. Courtney's doing a live presentation
Uh-huh.
in Huntington Beach
Uh-huh.
next week, or this week actually.
Yeah.
So being a student of the game, I want to go. Should I? Maybe I'm not gonna buy the printer tomorrow.
Of course.
But knowing what the capabilities of that printer, maybe it could be a goal to attain some kind of printing
Absolutely.
equipment like that for expansion purposes. So that's how
Keep
that's
learning. In
keep
other
learning.
words.
Yeah, keep learning.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what excites me about every day. Like every day something new comes out.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing we can control is whatever, like the artwork and all that, but the creativity is happening every day. So that those would be my two to summarize: is awareness and always be a student.
Yeah. And I think that's very important because, at every stage, you're still a student of something higher, whether it's Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. You're looking at them always doing something different, learning
Yep.
something different, involving themselves in different projects that you would not think they're involved with. Mark Zuckerberg, every year he comes up with something new.
Yep.
Keep pushing. He's the king of social media. He owns the largest social media platform,
Facebook, WhatsApp, everything.
right? Facebook owns literally everything. But they're not stopping there. They keep pushing. They keep innovation up in their company. They keep expanding. They introduce Facebook Watch. They introduce Facebook Marketplace. There's no reason for them to do
Facebook
those
ads.
things. Facebook ads. So
Yeah.
it's
Amazon is
and there you go.
crippling
That's
everything.
so and they themselves are. What does that show you? That at every level, you
Yeah.
have to keep learning.
Keep
You have to
innovating.
keep pushing. Keep innovation up. Try different things. Try new mechanisms. Test different things. And if it doesn't work, hopefully you figure out a way to do it in a cost-effective, low-risk manner. But you got to give it a shot, right?
Always.
So Lottie, why don't we talk about what three secrets can you share with the listeners who have businesses, who probably have some local stores, who may have a Facebook or an Instagram account, who may be influencers or bloggers? I know there's many moms listening who write about different topics, who express themselves online. How does somebody go about building an online persona, an online following, an online brand, specifically on Instagram, but also using the other social media channels and fundamental notions of branding to acquire massive audiences and publicity and goodwill quickly?
Okay. Typically, at like the bare minimum, I would suggest that people, I guess try to figure out what niche. I guess what is their target audience.
Uh-huh.
So like, say for me, my page is more like an entrepreneurship,
Uh-huh.
positive, music related kind of page. So all the things I'm gonna be posting are gonna be catered towards that market.
So number one, the first thing is to really identify the market, right?
Yes.
Okay, there you have it, guys. If you're taking notes, the first one is to identify market.
Better find
Go on.
market.
And then also like how Christian was talking about, be a student of the game, is go look at the person, I guess the specific target market that you're looking at, and look at the best person that's doing that currently, like you said, like Mark Zuckerberg, and then go study what they're doing. Go see what books they're reading, because it is every single day there's something new you can always learn. There's all these different websites like entrepreneurship, .com, where you can also always figure out what's going on, and yeah, always just keep researching because. Say a perfect example is like the new Instagram algorithm because Facebook they always keep changing it so people
Absolutely.
it makes it a little bit more difficult now as opposed to like when I started it was relatively simple just to be building up these followers but now it's a little bit more difficult because of the new system so you always got to see okay cool being this the new algorithm what are the new different ways to penetrate that and by even going online on Facebook you can find a lot of these different groups that people are giving like free information about what are the best ways to target your profile.
Absolutely. So it looks like once you've identified the market, the second hack is hacking the success stories, identifying influencers or market leaders and following their approach closely, perhaps testing and integrating those mechanisms into your own business model.
Some of them actually, if you go on their Facebook pages or Instagram pages, they always a lot of them now are pretty smart where they always do a swipe up link where you just type in your information and they do one of those free seminars and then that's when they provide you different gems. Some I peep out Ask a Millionaire Jason Stone because he's one of the top people on Instagram right now and even Ed Milet too because he's a great motivational speakers and I just try to see what they do and apply that to my life.
Okay, so it looks like in addition to trying to follow and also learn from some of the leaders in the space, another one is to really consume their content, understand it, not just view what they're doing or try to copy it, but understand their particular systems and either modify it, integrate it, or hack it in some way so that it's part of your business model. You test it out. It also sounds like you engage with some sort of a free magnet that they put out for free. That's how I imagine they build their followers.
That's
people
how
like you on their list.
And it's just simple, just build like an email list just to just gather information on who your target comes back to your target audience.
Right.
And then number 3 is also what tends to help is also seeking mentorship. Similar, how you like we're gonna be consulting and helping out people out with their Shopify accounts. I like to look at people who already are doing what I'm trying to do at that level, and one of the key things is always trying to see how you can help them out first, so that when it comes to helping out with your needs, it'll make a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, because you can't just keep coming to people expecting them to automatically help you out. Try to, even if you don't have much to offer, just try to help them out with just something small. Right. And then that's just another way to penetrate the game. Like in the music industry, I have a mentor that's been in the music industry for over 20 years. So a lot of the relationships that I may be seeking, I'm learning from this person, and those relationships can be my relationship if I just handle my business right. So that's just one of the key things. And then it applies to social media, it applies to anything.
So in other words, sort of making offers with these larger celebrities, brand leaders, making it a no-brainer offer so that they're already busy. You want them to work with us, with you, and so penetrating, making it a no-brainer where it's a win-win situation. At the same time, you have some guidance, you have a path that you can sort of follow,
and it's innovative. You got to understand that everybody is trying to do the same thing. Everybody's creating a T-shirt. Like our motto, I guess, could be is walking with a T-shirt, walk out with a brand.
Right.
And that's what's going to separate us from a lot of people, is because we're really separate from just trying to sell clothing. We're trying to educate people that the world that we live in now is more of on an e-commerce realm, and there's a lot of people who are successful people who are generating 6 figures from their Shopify accounts, and it's better to make money while you're asleep as opposed to just doing it the same old way as everybody else.
Yeah, and the beauty of the online world, as all of us are involved in it, and again, the way I've managed to build my practice over the years has been the real separator has been technology. The fact that I understand technology, at least to what I think, more than other attorneys. Sure, there might be some tech guys laughing.
Just putting that little effort. You don't know everything.
That's right. Absolutely.
But the beautiful thing is you don't have to know everything. It's like having like a well thought out team where, okay, you specialize in that, I specialize in this. Like you specialize in this. Like, let's come in
Absolutely.
together and make something happen so that we all just play our roles. You know, we don't have to try to be somebody else.
Yeah. And so there's, in other words, there's plenty of room for everyone in the pot. So as you are getting your ideas off the ground, you're figuring out your big fish. Make these no-brainer offers. Go up
Yeah,
with them with
building
proposals.
building relationships. Like I said, even if you have nothing to offer, by even just driving business to that specific person you're trying to go towards,
Add
that-
value, in other words.
that's how you can gather swap information, because you know what, you're helping
course.
them out with their business. The problem the individual will have no problem helping you answer whatever you need.
Absolutely, and that's just like life, right? Who do we connect with? Who do we interact with? People who hopefully add value to our life in some way, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, financial. In any way you look at it, it's we want to be around people or things that give us value in life. So okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about something that as entrepreneurs, um, there's a certain thing about entrepreneurship that everyone goes through, which is, the ups and downs of business. How do you, Christian, deal with that ups and downs when business is down, maybe for months at a time, maybe for years at a time in some cases? How do you bounce back? What mental um, secrets can you share to get through those tough times? How do you power through those rough situations if things are not going your way? How do you keep your composure to keep fighting? What are the alternatives that pop up in your brain? Do you ever consider, hey, should I go get a job? And there's nothing wrong with doing that to power your way through it. But what are some of the things that go on through your mind, and walk us through that process? How do you empower yourself, in other words, is the question.
Yeah. Great question. So, whenever I'm on the road and or I'm working out or even just walking, I like to listen a lot to motivational audio books or audio tapes.
So podcasts, those sort of things.
YouTube, a lot of YouTube stuff.
Similar to the people listening to the show right now, you may be at work, driving, at home, maybe even in the gym, and you're tuned into Entrepreneur Empowered for a reason.
Yeah, so which is why we're doing this, because I've learned so much from people that are not even alive anymore, but have some of the words that they speak. It's just, man, the way they talk and speak about business and life and ethics is just truly amazing, that it's not something that people grasp towards or want to have or even talk like that at some point in their lives.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, when you wake up, do you give yourself a little pep talk of some sort? Today is going to be a good day? Or what's the mental framework? What's your routine, your mantra that you follow on a day-to-day basis to fight your way, to assure yourself that you're making the right decision, the business is, whether it's booming or not booming, that you're in the right path towards where you want to be?
So you're saying how to handle it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, what do you wake up and what do you tell yourself?
Gotcha. So this was done maybe about like a year ago. I created a dream board.
Okay.
And I have it right next to my bed. So then when I wake up, that's the thing I look at every day. And the dream board obviously has things that are highly it would require a lot to attain, but then there's also those smaller goals. Like I had in my dream board that I want to open up the store, so it finally happened, so I took that down. So the dream board is like a way to keep you accountable. It's simply goals with deadlines. That's how I think of a dream board. So
that's really good.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Keeping accountability is key, because as entrepreneurs, it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day hustle. Yeah. There's nobody telling, you're on your own boss.
Especially when you're trying to make the money.
Absolutely. And at every stage.
It's that mindset,
at every stage, if you're the boss, nobody's telling you what to do. Well, at the same time, at every layer, you have to keep regulation. That's kind of what it is at this point, right?
Yeah.
As your own boss, who else is going to regulate you? You got to do it yourself, right? You got to wake up. And so the dream board, let's talk about that. You have big goals and you have small goals. And so do you have a path that you draw on the dream board on what you're going to do to accomplish step by step towards these goals?
Not really. It's not really a roadmap. It's more of like, when you play a video game, it goes back to, and you achieve something, you get like a trophy or like
Right.
you unlock something.
Correct.
So that's how I see the dream board more than
Steps at a time.
yeah, like how you do it. That's called life. Like
That's
that's
right.
just you gotta figure it out.
By any means.
Yeah, there really is no playbook for that, but there is direction. We can plan and better be like have a better angle.
Absolutely.
But really,
Just like a football game or a basketball
Yeah.
game, there's a playbook that the coach and the players implement. But
yeah,
what happens out there is live in real time.
real
You gotta
time.
adapt.
You got to adapt based on your
Yeah.
knowledge, your skill, your training, and the mental framework to fight through.
Yeah, and part of the training I think is like knowing what you're attacking.
Absolutely.
If maybe I didn't have that dream board, I would probably still do these things, but they would not happen they would probably happen at a later time because they're not
Right.
centered or they're
So
not.
now you're focused.
Yeah.
You're in the zone.
You have a reason to hit or attack.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
audience, I hope listeners that are tuned in,
Man,
taking
this is-
notes, take these.
This is
Yeah.
too much, bro.
Too much jam- too much gems.
Too much gems, man.
Right, so dream board, I think is
I'm
a
gonna have to-
great idea.
You're gonna have to keep that. Keep some of that.
Yeah, this is a great. In fact, I do something similar as well, where we have, my wife and I, we have these checklists and goals. My wife is from a corporate background, so everything's structured, and I can tell now the difference between entrepreneurs and people who are in corporate, where as entrepreneurs sometimes we lack structure in our businesses. In a corporate setting, your job description
Everything's
already
predicated on
is
that.
there. You go there, you know what to do. Here, we have to figure out the boss who's going to give the employee ourselves from two different roles.
Yeah.
I have to sit here, give myself the instruction, go over there, take that instruction, execute it, go over there, analyze it, pump it into my computer, go there, report it. So it's all done in wearing different hats by the same person. So things get tricky.
It really does.
And so, Lottie, can you talk about how do you handle, the diverse projects you're working on, all these different things you have going on,
Oof.
multitasking at its finest as an entrepreneur? How do you do it and still maintain style, still maintain mental composure, still have a personal life? Maybe you go out with your buddies a lot. Maybe you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever you have.
I mainly right now
You know,
I stick to myself because I'm focused on the goal, the timeline. Everything else will
Absolutely.
work out itself. It really just comes down to the determination,
Uh-huh.
not being afraid of failure. Actually thriving in failure. Your best work comes from failing many times, and that's one of the quotes I think I've got from Michael Jordan. Like he failed many times. He missed like a lot of shots, but he's
Yeah.
still the greatest of all time at the end of the day. And sometimes listening to those positive affirmations like I showed you on SoundCloud, that tends to help because you're not gonna
Absolutely.
everything's not gonna be beautiful. You're gonna have your ups and downs, but you gotta just be able to be confident in yourself. Also looking at a lot of the other successful people that I might be tied into some groups and sometimes have conversations with
Absolutely.
and checking on certain people who are in the same field as mine. And one of the most beautiful things is I always like to, I guess because I'm always brokering deals, I always like to put money in other people's pockets that are helping me out throughout the whole process. So that keeps them on track. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because I'm always helping them out. So when I need something, it's gonna get taken care of on my accord because I'm already setting the playing field that way.
So give and take. I think that would be a nice T-shirt. Entrepreneurs, we give and take. We give, we provide, right? At the end of the day, we are all in business because, number one, not only do we enjoy what we do, The fruits of the labor are obviously, as an entrepreneur, we like to see our efforts being rewarded. But at the same time, it's the pleasure of giving something to somebody and seeing them appreciate it and appreciate you, you know?
A perfect example was last night. When we went to a fashion show event. We just been every single day something great has been happening. We've been putting it on the board, been focused and everything. And he had a great idea of one of these sponsors at the event. We collaborated and decided what photo to go off of Instagram because we were printing on site. And he printed out that product, surprised her, and she nearly almost teared up. Similar to how your wife almost did too.
Yeah.
And that that already set the relationship where it's already locked in. And however can I help you out, I'm ready to go. She's gonna tell everybody.
Absolutely. So, here's a small hack that I discovered after almost 17 years of being an entrepreneur and spending millions of dollars on all kinds of products and services and this and that I've sold. It's all about the emotion, right? People are buying you. People are buying me. People are buying you. They're not buying a product or service. There's competitors who offer things cheaper, better than us, no matter what industry you're in, right? The top Facebook ads guy in the world, I'm sure there's better guys out there than him or her performing for a lot cheaper, right? But because of circumstances, they might
Got
not
the
be
name.
realized. I believe I'm one of the best intellectual property and business attorneys here in Los Angeles. Not many people know me. I just started my business, but
It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time. So you got to have, number one, the emotional connection, right, that you have to set with your ideal clients. All the clients, in fact, the reason we are all sitting here is because, we connected. We're thinking on the same level. Christian actually showed up to a workshop that I had that I was charging $500 for. He told me he got ripped off for another conference at the same time as somebody else, paid for it, went there. They were not even there. It
But
was
that's
a fake address.
perseverance.
Perseverance. He saw my ad, which was happening at the same time. I believe it was for Facebook advertising, so it wasn't even about my law firm, right? So he was looking for, in his mind, it was Facebook ads to grow his business, although he needed an attorney at the end of the day to give other stuff. But as an attorney, having an ad for Facebook allowed me to get now 2 potentially new collaborations and clients and friends, where he might not have been looking for.
That would have this never would have been done.
He didn't go online and look for business law or a business attorney. He was looking for Facebook marketing help. So in other words, what you have to do is tap into the emotion again. What are people? What is your customer looking for, right? And put that out there. I'm advertising my law firm, our legal services, but beyond that, a strategy, right, is what I do.
Sparking a movement, honestly.
Exactly.
And a lot of the beautiful things too is because I also have a mentor, like I said, in the music industry as well, and I'm looking forward as far as some of the platforms he's locked in, and I'm gonna be hopefully taking over, because he has everything set in stone, and it's just about how you treat the other, the every person, and just leaving a great a great relationship.
You want to leave the positive, good taste in your mouth after the bite of the apple, right? And so I think cultivating or taking the extra time to build a relationship up front, even though the sale may come a little later, may be worth it.
And always just what I even download some other networking apps like you got the Meetup app, you got LinkedIn, you got Sharper, and even
one of the newer ones I found was Happening in LA. I think it's a website where they have a bunch of startup stuff like that. So I've been even trying to make some of those events out myself.
Yeah, great.
Which is very critical because you always find out. Because everybody has their own talents, and there's a lot of people who specify specifically in one field. So
absolutely,
just trying to build relationships with groups of lawyers, groups of accountants, groups of whatever it is. So you can always try to gather as much information as possible.
I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what industry you operate in, you're going to be serving a person. Even if it's a corporation, it's a person behind the corporation making a decision because of a want that they have. right? So at the end of the day, it's about a person making that decision, right? So everybody at some level is dealing with the same people, maybe at
Yeah.
different angles. A person has many needs: a business need, family need, personal need, a spiritual need, a corporate need, a financial need, a legal need, marketing need. And so it's about attacking those different areas. The same, an individual has to wear clothing. The same individual has to go eat. They need a marketing service if they have a business. They may need a will. So an individual, a citizen, your competitor, your potential market.
You always gotta look. You always gotta look and analyze it. You always have
Absolutely.
competition, so never forget that.
And
Anybody
there's
that
many
says they
ways
don't
to
have
skin the same
competition,
cat, right? If your business is not working out, if you've been in operation, sales are struggling, you're like, hey, why are things not picking up? How about this? Try going and penetrating your market from a slightly different angle.
Don't be afraid to try something new.
Tap into a different
I
emotion,
like that.
right? Tap into a different emotion that triggers what your potential client, your audience, your customer is looking for. So, in other words, that's creativity again, right? So,
And also, you can always buy like the cheat code is looking at a lot of the successful companies, as you said, as you brought up, earlier, and seeing how they, build up the infrastructure. Because from what I've learned is how your infrastructure is set up is the most important thing. Because if you don't have that, then you're just going off of you don't have no deadlines, you have no organization.
No accountability,
Absolutely.
no nothing.
all right. Well, let's talk about another topic that I think is always interesting to me to hear when I ask this. Um, Christian, what do you think is grit for you? How do you how do you define
Oh,
grit?
grit and grind.
Yeah, I mean, what's true grit? I mean, give me some examples of situations like you gave earlier that you've sustained through tough situations. Like, are you a person with true grit that fights through anything? What do you think?
I think that,
Do you have the killer spirit?
absolutely, absolutely. Grit. I feel is probably the most important attribute or skill that an entrepreneur needs because we're in a day of age where talent is becoming doesn't matter. Talent is
How
more.
are be talent? How are be
Yeah,
talent?
talent. Everyone is talented with
Yep.
Google,
Yeah,
right? So
that's right.
um,
A
you gotta bring.
smartphones empower everybody.
Yeah,
We
like
all have the same information.
you can't you can't
BS
you can't
people.
BS people no more how you once could, and that's it's so like I still it's very surprising that there's people that go thinking that it's not easy, it's not that hard to pick up a phone and type whether this is true or not,
Right.
and
Some people just don't do it, but you're right.
yeah, so to me that's great. Is what else aside from talent can you bring? Um, Relationships, maybe gaining a new skill like how to close a deal,
Uh-huh.
what an NDA is, or what are some of these documents that might close you a contract. Like those, that to me is great. Is
The extra.
yeah, the extra stuff. Like what are learning Facebook ads, learning what a Facebook pixel is.
Not
Doing
afraid to do what you
not
got to do.
yeah, like if I gotta put on the developer hat today and knock out this website update, let's run it.
That's
You know, to me that's what really grit is doing the things that you are not being paid for to do, and doing the things that you are not required to do.
Right.
To me, that's great.
But going the extra mile to learn it, do it, master it,
Yeah.
right? Me running Facebook ads like President Trump from the can. No, I'm kidding. I don't do it from the can. But running Facebook ads from my phone, sitting in Manhattan Beach and attracting a downtown
You got me, man.
developer, a store owner to walk in, and so it shows you that Facebook ads were not easy. I've tried, experimented, I've lost a lot of money, I've gained a lot of money, but you got to do what you got to do. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, to go for the kill, to take the extra initiative, to go the extra mile because it
Yeah.
makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Lottie, I have one last question for you, and then let's let's go to the other phase, the exciting news that we have for the listeners today. The
I
swag
don't
that
think they're
you
ready
guys
for
are
it.
going to be giving away. So Lottie, what do you think in this day and age where people have, um, a smartphone, right? Where anyone can literally pick up the phone, log into existing social accounts that people are using on a day-to-day basis, and start making money quickly using smart things or start developing followings. Can you talk about hashtags and your specific use of hashtags to develop quick followings?
Okay, some of the, I mean, I could just showcase some of the hashtags that I tend to use.
Uh huh.
Because I said like my page is at Londonian Gaga, where you guys will find out how to find that later on. I look at like The Secret, like I read that book, positivity
Right.
and everything. So I have like the hashtag The Secret, the law of attraction, the law of success,
Uh,
entrepreneur life, entrepreneur quotes, belief, success mindset, inspiring quotes. So I just tend to use like some of the same.
the mainstream codes. And so, how have you now, since you've developed this following? So, step one, identify the market, develop the following, investigate the influencers, and develop those kind of mechanisms which you have done.
And a lot, and what can also help, because I said like with the new Instagram algorithm stuff, it might be a little bit more difficult to, even if you are trying a lot of these philosophies that I'm showcasing you guys, it's still a little bit difficult
Uh-huh.
to hit the numbers you're trying to reach, or in a rapid growth, because of one of the key things is the engagement on your
Uh-huh.
page. And that's where like the marketing agencies or people like me and some of the people I work with help out people out with that.
Uh-huh.
Like when it comes to targeting your specific audience, especially if
Gotcha.
you're selling a product or anything, because I
Uh-huh.
think that's the point, is to build your social media more as a business as opposed to
Absolutely.
personal, and that's what my main focus is.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And, another key thing that you offer, and goes back to what you talked about before and you spoke about in length, which is cultivating relationships and using relationships. Can you speak about this unique service that you now provide where you're able to get somebody verified on Instagram, cultivating? I mean, this is a special process, obviously. Being verified automatically gets your page boosted. So if you're a business owner and you have the verified symbol on Instagram, chances are you're going to be found much easier, correct?
Oh yeah, it's kind of like similar to like a SEO, where like with Google you have to pay a certain amount of money to have your website on the front page as opposed to the back,
Right.
because those are all the leads, and it just makes it relatively easier for you to be seen and people to reach out to you. When it comes to getting verified, it's a difficult process that is either you go through a PR, because I know like a lot of people you can hire PRs where they'll help you, take you to certain events so you can shake hands, get some articles written about you,
Uh-huh.
radio interview, all those kind of things. That's like one of the key components to trying to get verified,
Uh-huh.
and that's one way you can do it, or going through some social media, companies, and and the most important thing is, like I said, the engagement. So the engagement and the public relations is one of the key components that goes into your page, because you can get verified through Instagram.
Uh-huh.
It takes a little longer, or you might never get it,
Right.
because they just keep changing their
Of
their,
course.
their requirements every single time. You either gotta be a celebrity, you gotta be an athlete,
Uh-huh.
and for the most part,
A
a lot of
public
people,
figure, so to speak.
and a lot of people are not gonna be that. So
Right.
the way to supersede that is by getting social media marketing companies like us. You know what I'm saying? Also,
So
like
it's getting faces out there. The Instagram looks and says, "Hey, these guys are out there. People are recognizing them. It's time. This is a verified sort of angle." Correct?
100%, and and like I said, one of the key things I see a lot, for everybody, I feel like everybody has an opportunity to get that, is through, I guess, maybe building like going to Sid, as far as us when it comes to consulting and building like a Shopify business, because I do know a lot of people that may have 1,000, 2,000 followers, but are generating, six figures on their business through Shopify,
Right.
and then that already speaks volumes within itself. And then those kind of entrepreneur brands and articles write about them,
Of
and then they
course.
can get their business verified, and then also in being that they are that person, they become verified. Because I know some people who have been verified with 2,000 followers, so it doesn't really matter about the followers. It matters about the
And
kind
then
of
there's
people.
people with 1 million followers and not verified.
Yeah, so it just comes down to like the public outreach.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't really
Absolutely.
it don't really matter about the followers. It's just more about like having that
What do you bring
relationship.
to the table?
Absolutely. Well,
Which goes back to what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Talent, that's talent. Having the followers.
Correct.
The grit is, how do you make it to these PR stations, or how do you make it to
the next step.
the next step? Yeah.
Converting what you've built, what you've developed into revenue.
And I have some of the top people in the world that do that for a lot of the big time celebrities when it comes to their verification, or even on music like Spotify streams, YouTube,
Uh-huh.
and just all that kind of stuff.
So this is something that Lottie offers. In fact, before the show, he approached us and said, for entrepreneurs, there's hundreds of thousands of people listening to this show, and you offered a special package. We're not going to discuss the rates on the radio show, but Lottie has been kind enough to offer a special package for those influencers or people who have Instagram accounts and businesses who are looking to get verified, because automatically it looks like the verification process will give you publicity, authority, recognition, trustworthiness, goodwill
That's
in the
the
marketplace.
that's the most important thing, is it just makes you trustworthy, and people are just automatically willing to do business with you. And like I
Right.
said, everything is on a case to case basis.
Uh-huh.
So like it's all about just gathering the information, seeing where they're at, and seeing where you guys are at,
Right.
and then being able to let advise you and let you know, hey, this is where we're at, this is where we need to be, and this is what we need to do to get to that level. And I feel like with Shopify and these e-commerce business being there, I feel like that's going to be like one of the best ways for people without having to deal with the whole, because some people are not that sociable
Of
or
course.
want to go out or
Yeah.
even have that kind of,
Yeah. It's a tough game.
yeah,
It's
a
not
tough
for
game.
everyone.
So it's not for everyone. So I really feel like, that because I've been studying a lot of the big time, drop shipping people who've been, through ClickFunnels making a 10K to a million a month, and that's one of the new things I want to mainly focus separate from social media.
Right.
Like you could take away Instagram. What do you have? So I'm not, even if I have a big following, I'm not really looking at that. I see
wanna
myself,
be
I see myself
diverse.
as everybody else.
Absolutely.
And I feel like by achieving really well on that kind of business, and that's gonna speak volumes for itself.
And so talk about your the website that, if you have a following, if you have an Instagram account, you're a business owner, and you're looking to get more revenue using Instagram, I believe you've come up with a website, Lottie, called InstagramVerifiedConsultants.com, which the audience can go. You can register your accounts. Just send us your account information if you have it. Once again, that's InstagramVerifiedConsultants.com. You can go there, submit your account. Lottie has been kind enough to offer some free feedback and help you understand how you can get your account verified. Once again, it's Instagram Verified Consultants. It's a free 100% consultation for a couple minutes. All you have to do is submit your email address, your name, your phone number, and give us your Instagram account, and tell us what you're looking to do, what your business is, and we'll put together a game plan, right, Lottie?
Yeah, we'll definitely put in together a game plan and see what we can do, and take it from there, and see what the key thing always like to always try to figure out is what achievements have you done thus far. So we always like to start with
Absolutely.
a good thing to say about you, because the key thing is about bragging to you on why you should be verified. And my goal is to get everybody there, because we're all in this together.
Absolutely.
And we're all trying to win.
And so with that, I think now it's time to reveal a little secret that we've been talking about. Christian and Lottie have approached me with this idea right before the show, and it's something that we've been dabbling around for a while now, and we want to introduce to you a special brand idea, speaking about motivation, speaking about empowerment. As the audience know, this is an entrepreneur empowered. It's about the mindset. It's about what we take action with. It's about reminding ourselves and reminding others who we are. And as entrepreneurs,
It's a team effort.
it's
It's
a
like
team effort.
it's unity. We're all in it together, and you want to see everybody succeed.
Absolutely. And so, so number one, before I reveal to you what special gifts we have, make sure you have this website down there, Instagram, verifiedconsultants.com. If you're looking to get your Instagram account verified, you'll get Lottie giving you some expert advice. We want to introduce you to entrepreneurarmor.com, a special clothing brand that's designed for entrepreneurs, right? With coats, with images, with brand lines that are about motivation, that are about success, that are about getting things done. The website is entrepreneurarmor.com. We're giving away a few t-shirts, about 10 to 15 of them, for for 15 people who go on there and register. Just go ahead and fill out the information, and we'll send you a free t-shirt with the word hashtag entrepreneur. It's completely complimentary on Christian. He's taken the time to put together this beautiful design on a variety of different clothing. This is a new clothing accelerator that we have launched, and the goal again of Entrepreneur Empowered in every single show has been about empowerment, has been about giving you direct access, not information, because everybody has information, but about direct access. And so Entrepreneur Empowered and Entrepreneur Armor, in this case, entrepreneurarmor.com, it's a clothing brand that we've started with two special, unique angles that I've seen nobody other clothing companies doing. Number one, it's about giving back. And what we're going to do is help other entrepreneurs start their own clothing line with ease. We've put together the designers who can help you build a website. We have the mastermind producer who can backfill all the different clothing designs and production. We have an Instagram and social media expert who can put together the plan on the branding and how to publicize your business, what hashtags to use, which influencers, bloggers, or people that you need to engage with in order to start selling your goods or products or t-shirts quickly online. And on my side, I'll be more than happy to give you a structure, legal, business, and intellectual property structure on your business, on how to make sure your clothing brand is one that has a lot of intellectual property that is worth it, that you can sell, that is protected, that you can monetize in a variety of ways. So once again, it's Entrepreneur Armor, entrepreneurarmor.com. I welcome you to go on there, take a look at some of the amazing swag we put up, t-shirts, hats, designs. This is the launch of a brand new business with a special purpose. Number one, to make you feel good, to give you the clothing that empowers you, that gives you the armor to be tough inside and out, and also to give you the opportunity to have your own clothing line. So with that, I think we're going to draw an end to today's show. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for taking the time.
Thank you for having us.
Be here to give us some
We're looking forward to getting
insights.
to know more of you guys too.
Absolutely.
It's a team
Next time,
effort.
maybe
We're
we
here
could
together.
take a call.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah.
have any questions, guys, there's already been a bunch of people who have tuned in and submitted designs. If you'd like your business logo on a free t-shirt, we're giving this away to 7 people, and only 7 people, because after this it's going to start costing us a lot from our pocket. And we're willing to give this away absolutely free, $40 t-shirts, right? 7 of them to the first 7 business owners who submit their logo. You have the information on the page. Go back to the Bashani Radio or Entrepreneur Empowered, or log into Facebook, add me, Sid Pedinti, and send me your logo, and we'll be more than happy, right, Christian, to print that out on a T-shirt and send it to you free of cost.
We'll be able to do everything, and the cool thing about what we do is we are drop shipping everything within 2 to 3 business days. So
2 to 3 business days.
yeah,
So we
the sooner we get in touch with anyone that needs a design, the sooner we can get it out to them.
There you go.
And anyone else interested in any kind of custom products, tectonland.com. Definitely want to check that out.
So
too.
Tecton Land is this printing shop. Please go there. If you're an artist, if
you're in town in LA, come through and come in person. We're excited to meet you and everything too.
Absolutely. So thank you all for joining in. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And listeners, stay tuned for next week's show. Once again, thanks for joining us. This is the end of Entrepreneur Empowered with attorney Sid Pedinti.
Are you excited?
Thank you all.
Because we are.
Bye-bye.